Testing an AI chip is no longer about weeding out the bad ones. It's becoming part of manufacturing itself, the step that reliably picks out a good die that may be worth several million yen apiece. When the head of Taiwan's biggest test house, KYEC, says that out loud, I read it as a sign that the standing of the test industry, a backstage player for decades, is being rewritten. But behind that headline, you can also see the distance between the vision and the reality. Today, we'll read both sides. Welcome to Semiconductor News Decoded. I'm Tai, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry, bringing you the real view from the factory floor. Today, we're looking at the idea Taiwan's test specialist KYEC is pushing, that in the AI era, testing is part of the manufacturing process. By the end, you'll understand why AI chip testing has become a special case, what is really changing at a test house, and what isn't, and where KYEC's actual battle is being fought. Here's today's news in one picture. Imagine a fish market with a master inspector. We'll lean on this market all the way through the opening section. His job is to look over every fish coming in and reject the ones that have gone off. For years, those were everyday fish, worth a few hundred yen each, so the odd miss never caused much of a fuss. The inspector was, for a long time, a supporting role. Recently, the star of the market changed. Premium fish worth hundreds of thousands of yen each now arrive in volume every day. And they're prepared in a special way, layer upon layer of the finest cuts and rare parts. So the closer they get to shipping, the more value has piled up. Miss something at the final inspection, and all of that accumulated value disappears at once. So the meaning of the inspector's job changes. It isn't rejecting spoiled fish anymore. It's guaranteeing that an expensive fish really is top grade. So the inspector starts thinking, don't leave me on the buying side. Bring me into the kitchen from the start. If what I notice at inspection flows back into prep and purchasing, the whole restaurant gets better. But two realities get in the way. First, the standard for what counts as a good fish is set by the buyer, the head chef of the sushi restaurant. However well-meaning the inspector is, he can't loosen or tighten the pass line on his own. Touching the standard without the chef's approval puts the restaurant's name at risk. Second, and more immediate, so much premium fish is coming in that there simply aren't enough inspection benches or hands. Before dreaming about a seat in the kitchen, he has to open more locations, buy more tools, and train more people. That's where the inspector's real fight is right now. From here, let me walk you through what this actually looks like in the real semiconductor industry. Today's subject is KYEC, formerly King Yuan Electronics, a Taiwanese company. It's one of the world's largest test houses, taking on the testing done before and after a chip is finished. KYEC's president, Gauss Chang, said the role of testing is changing as AI chips get more expensive and more complex. Testing, he says, is moving from being part of the supply chain to being part of the process. Behind that is the change in what an AI chip is worth. These are said to run into the millions of yen apiece, an expensive logic die combined with stacked memory called HBM, an interposer, and a substrate. So value swells the closer you get to the finished product. So testing is no longer just sorting defects, it's the step that reliably picks out an expensive good die. KYEC's proposal is a model it calls EATP, equipment, accessories, the jigs and materials, testing as a service, and product. The idea is to link those four areas from the earliest stage of development so that what you learn in test, including how something should be measured, feeds back in early. Exactly the analogy, what the inspector notices flowing back into prep. Another key fact is the surge in demand. According to Chang, one fab used to cover 2 to 3 years of demand growth. Now, they may need 2 to 3 fabs worth of capacity added in a single year. Yet build times have gone the other way, at least 24 months from site preparation to completion. And power, water, and people all have to be secured. Here's my take. The first thing to hold on to is that the test step runs on a fine division of labor. The testers, the measurement equipment, come from makers like Advantest and Teradyne. The jigs, probe cards, sockets come from jig makers. The test house handles the test program, volume operation, and failure analysis. So who decides what gets measured and what counts as a pass? The chip maker decides. The customer. Product specs, quality standards, the pass-fail line, final authority and responsibility sit on the customer side. A test house can propose improvements, but it can't change test items, pass-fail thresholds, or binning on its own. Under the structure of quality assurance, customer approval is mandatory. In the analogy, that's why the head chef set the standard. So I take Chang's remark as a declaration of where he wants to go, rather than a description of where things are. Feeding test results back into design isn't something the AI era invented. What changed is that the cost of missing something is now in a different league. A few hundred yen versus a few 100,000. The same miss simply doesn't weigh the same. And I see KYEC's immediate battle as securing test capacity, not realizing EATP. They're moving on a new site in Yangmei in Taiwan, building out Singapore and planning a US investment of up to $1.4 billion. On the floor, the priorities are securing testers, probers, handlers, and burn-in equipment, allocating tools per product, bringing up jigs, and raising utilization. Down-to-earth operations. That said, there are areas where a test house can fight on its own terms. Cutting test time matters, but anything touching quality can't be changed without customer approval. Changeover improvements, though, swapping jigs, waiting for temperature to stabilize, switching equipment over, are relatively self-directed. With capacity this tight, I think it's exactly these unglamorous gains that add up. Put it together, and KYEC's strategy reads as 2 layers on a time axis. Near term, add fabs and equipment to secure capacity. Beyond that, move deep into product engineering. Return data to customers quickly to support yield and performance improvement. And become a company that can design the measurement method itself. Because future advantage won't be decided by capacity alone. The link to Japan is concrete. If KYEC keeps adding 2 to 3 fabs worth a year, the main battleground becomes test equipment, testers and handlers. That's where Japan's Advantest competes as a major player, and how much equipment you secure and which products you assign it to becomes the competitive condition for the test houses themselves. Equipment lead times and allocation are shaping the balance of power. Here's the one thing to take away. In the age of AI chips, the last stronghold of value is shifting from the ability to make to the ability to verify. But that initiative won't move overnight. For the time being, I see the split holding. The customer sets the standard, and the test house executes it reliably while building up its strength. To sum up, Taiwan's test leader, KYEC, has declared that in the AI era, testing moves from part of the supply chain to part of the process. But the authority to set test standards still sits with the customer, and the immediate fight is capacity. Yangmei, Singapore, the United States, expanding on one hand, laying groundwork for leading on measurement on the other. A 2-stage play. That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis, so if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Tai on Semiconductor News Decoded.